Duel Links has a huge new update, and with it are a bunch of new powerful cards. Hello, I hope you are having a perfectly balanced day. Today's video will be about the new deck, Blue Eyes. I will show you a deck profile, followed by gameplay. To see more videos for the TCG, Duel Links and Master Duel, consider pressing the big red button and leaving a comment down below. But with no further ado, enjoy! There is now a playlist for the new decks that you can see here. Let's start by looking at the new skill. Blue Eyes has had infinite skills during the history of Duel Links, but this one is the strongest. For starters, there are only 2 restrictions. Each effect is once per duel, which is nice, we are moving back to this, and you have to play 15 Blue Eyes cards in your Blue Eyes deck. There is 0 summon restrictions, so you can play whatever you want. First, you can reveal a Blue Eyes monster to add any Blue Eyes card from deck to hand. Then BLS and Ultimate spawn in your graveyard to be used for Ultimate Fusion later. Secondly, if you control a Blue Eyes monster, or only your opponent controls a monster, set one Blue Eyes spell trap from your deck, and it can be activated the same turn. This is really good because going second, you can just activate Majesty and start destroying their field before you even summon a monster. Majesty is one of the new cards, and despite being a trap card, it is the backbone of this deck. You can destroy up to 3 cards, non-targeting, and it has the grave effect to ritual summon, which is why we play this guy, without having to play a ritual spell. If we don't draw Majesty, we still get to it, because we use the skill to set True Light, or itself, then True Light to set this from deck. If we draw Majesty, then sometimes we can use the other effect of True Light, the special, to turn the extra body into a seals. Our enabler for all of this is the new Kyberman. Someone questioned if you can play this deck with 2, and the answer is yes. 2 is perfectly fine. I'm not even sure if I want to play a 3rd, because you search it anyway with the skill, but you cannot reveal it for the first effect of the skill. But either way, 2 or 3 copies is ideal, but even if you have only 1, then that is still fine. But I would likely play a smaller deck count if so. Jet is another new monster, and is extremely good, but you only need 1 because you search it with Kyberman and some other cards too, like Melody. You don't need 3 alternative. I like having 3 though because it's good to draw and is a monster that you can reveal with a skill. And then 1 Ultimate Fusion to summon these 2. Bingo Machine is also good. You can play more. I mostly play it to set with True Light, as True Light has to set something with a different name from what's already in your grave. You can play Destined Rivals, but I don't think you need it. Majesty is just better, so it rarely comes up and can be an awkward card to draw. As for the text, we have Free Veiler. It's good in the Blue Eyes Mirror to negate their Kyberman, and in general is a strong hand trap right now. Eclipse is also good in the Blue Eyes Mirror, and like Veiler, is generally quite strong. Blizzard is decent into a variety of decks, as spell cards are everywhere. You can use this to negate Branded in red, which is quite nice, as things like that make Blizzard good going both first and second. Then lastly, Cosmic is for one of your worst matchups, which is Shinobird. If you go second, you want to use Cosmic on their trap card, and since it gets banished, they cannot use it to ritual summon in your turn. But in general, the decks that you play in this deck are of course completely up to your player preference. These are simply the ones that I recommend. If you have infinite impermanence, then play it over Blizzard, and if you have 3, then cut one of these Cosmics too. This extra deck has been nice so far. We have Spirit, with 3 different options to summon. Dingirsu for removal, and Destruction Protection in the Blue Eyes Mirror is good because of Majesty. Spheres is a common turn 1 option, and Link Rebo is nice to link off Kyberman when you either cannot or do not want to synchro summon. Enjoy the gameplay. The replays today are recorded offline, but you can find me stream live on Twitch on Tuesdays at 2 PM EST. So going first here against Eldlich, and we just go skill and the Kyberman. It's best to show them as little information as possible, so we grab Kyberman before using Melody case we have like a Velo on Impum, and it resolves. Summon a Blue Eyes from deck. And when you play against a deck that cannot play Nibiru, it's good to go Spirit first, then summon the body, then get a Search of Kuiperman. But when they can play Nibiru, you want to sacrifice this search on your turn and search on their turn instead by summoning the Hieratic Link 2 first, because by doing this first, it means that if they then Nibiru you, you still get to summon from deck, whereas if you summon Spirit first, they can still activate Nibiru under Spirit, and they'll just do it before you make seals. So doing it in this order, where you make the Link 2, then the Synchro 9, means that you don't search with the Kuiperman, but you can just search in their turn anyway. So in their turn, they get to be Temple, and we have two ways to remove Temple. We can either bounce it with seals, because they cannot activate it the same turn, so they can't replace it from hand, or we go Spirit to tag into the Lightstorm and pop it. And this is the better play here, because if we go Seals bounce it, they can just go Skill Search a Kaiju and Kaiju over this. However, if they Kaiju over the remaining on-field interruption, the Seals, then this will trigger. So it's better to do the Spirit into Lightstorm and then keep Seals, so we go Seals into the Jet, Eldland, Search Golden Lord. So they go pop Majesty, and I chain Majesty because even though this does have an effect in the graveyard when it is sent to grave, it's good to pop it if Majesty is going to get popped anyway, because it's one less card they can send from field to grave with the grave effect of the Golden Lord. Which, as proven here, right, they have to send an extra card from hand for Golden Lord. So chaining this to pop was definitely the correct play there. So I'm back Golden Lord, some Golden Lord, then punch over the Kaiju, then end phase, that will pop Lightstorm, Lightstorm reset the trap, summon back Blue Eyes, Kuiperman, search for the Ritual Monster. And now we just have a clear line for lethal with our trap. Go trap, I go chain Conquistador, because although it can pop a card, it can only pop Jet, because other cards are currently protected by the Jet. Go into Dingersu send away the Golden Lord, and then that is just GG. That is the example of playing around with Nibiru and sequencing your interruption against Eldlich. The second replay is going first against Despia, and this is when you don't have the full combo, and what that means is when you cannot get the extra body to make both the Link 2 and the Synchro 9 and Majesty. So in that scenario, you prioritize Majesty almost every time, and you just end on like a random dude next to your Synchro 9. So we go Kuiperman, Kuiperman into Blue Eyes. Set the True Light. Synchro 9. And when you don't make seals, you want to make this in the EMZ to give yourself a bit more space in your main monster zones. True Light, set the trap, and pass. So in this matchup, right, what you want to do is immediately Spirit into Azurize before it gets into their main phase. And the reason for this is because if they open a Dark Clawed Morningstar, their first action in the main phase before you can respond is dump Tragedy, add Branded in red, and then activate Branded in red. Because if you don't do anything up until that point, they can just go Branded in red, fuse into Morningstar, and even if you chain Spirit to tag into Azurize, Azurize will be chaining 1. Morningstar Fusion Monster will be chaining 2. So they will nuke your board before the Azurize can protect your field, because Azurize is mandatory. So it has to be chaining 1. Using to Queeritis. And this is a pretty obvious play for Dingersu, but we don't really mind too much here. Big ding. Because we have Veiler in hand for Dingersu. Veiler here is very good because it stops both the send and the protection effect. So the line they took here was pretty weak into Veiler, because now we can go Chain Majesty to pop the field spell and the 2 cards here as well. So huge value here from the Veiler, plus the trap. Summon Jet, set 2, and in the end phase what I do is I go effect of True to set, and chain the effect of a trap in the graveyard. Because currently, this cannot set Majesty because it's in the graveyard, so if we chain it, that then means we can set another copy of Majesty from deck. Because it is obviously no longer in the graveyard. And then this is then protected from Spirit. And then in our turn, with priority, with our toggle set to on, our first action is activate Majesty. And doing it first action is good, because if you don't do it first action, they can go first action branded opening. And then that makes it a little bit worse with how the chains resolve. So we go Chain Link 1, and this is really good, right? Because now if they chain summon like an Aliber, we can just pop Aliber and pop the set, and Aliber won't search. We don't need to pop Tragedy here. We have Game Through Kiteroid with the flip effect of this, and then bam bam bam, and that is lethal. So that is an example of going first with not the full combo, but when you cannot do both the Link 2 and Majesty and the Synchro 9, and how to sequence it against Despia. So for our third and final replay today, we have a game going second against Shaddoll. And they go Skill, Reveal, Wendy, and Hedgehog. Add Fusion. They go normal Wendy, Nef Shaddoll Fusion, make it a light, make Construct. And I do not Veiler it here, because Veilering here does not keep them off of Schism. In fact, there's no point where you can Veiler that can keep them off Schism, because they can just go Link 1 and then bring it back with Aerial if you Veiler here. So I think the best point to Veiler is to let this all resolve, and then when they go Trap, flip up Aerial, you can Veiler their Aerial, as that then keeps them off of IP. Because they cannot link this off into IP. Set 2 pass, and we can go first action, set the trap from deck, which is really good in this matchup because now this can just chain to the Schism. Very similar how in our recent video for Sword Soul, we were just searching MST, and that can then just chain Schism, as it will not resolve if you do so. First action alternative to force the Aerial early, because they go Aerial, target these, we just go Chain Fusion to make our really big guy. Go Chain Schism, we go Chain Trap to then pop Schism and the back row. And we make it in the main monster zone, because if you make it in the EMZ, it will get shuffled back by the Link 1 here. And then now we have Lethal. All we have to do is just go battle phase, but we can do a few more things, right? As long as you don't summon 5 times, that's the important thing to play around Nibiru. So our 4th summon here is Spirit, and then we just go battle phase, and then that is GG. That is an example of how to win going second using the skill to set the trap from the deck. Thank you for watching, hopefully you enjoyed and or found this video useful. Be sure to subscribe, have a perfectly balanced rest of your day, and adios. Want to be a pro at the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG? If you are one of the first 100 to use code BALANCE100, you get your first month in this MetaFi community for free. As part of this, you get personalized deck building help with a 24/7 deck doctor, meta breakdown videos, Q&A, and more. You also get a big discount on any additional content. So all you have to do is make your account on MetaFi, then when you go to subscribe to Researcher tier, just enter the promo code BALANCE100. But make haste, because this trial month only works for the first 100 people.